Okay,
All right, you ready?
we're ready.
All right, great. Well, welcome to Graceway's 50th anniversary podcast. This is our penultimate edition as we get the privilege of having Tim and Amy Pietrogallo joining us today. Tim and Amy were with us here at the beginning of the decade, and we are just so excited, just many fond memories from many in the congregation, just really excited to see both of you and excited to hear from you. So Pastor Tim, Amy, how are you guys doing?
Thanks. It's so nice to join you and so nice to be able to just say hi to everyone and how much we love them. And it's great to be a part of this little podcast.
It is. Yeah, we are glad to see you from afar, and we also have fond memories and are excited to talk with you today.
That's awesome. So just let's start off. Tell us about how you came to serve at Graceway, your journey up to that point. Of course, then called Sauk Prairie Evangelical Free Church. And then how
Right.
long did you serve here?
I was serving at Cary Grove Evangelical Free Church in Cary, Illinois. I was serving there for 6 years as the evangelism and discipleship pastor. And I felt a call to preaching and leading. And the Lord guided, and I know you were in those many meetings. We met, the search committee and us, and we had many meetings and discerned that it was God's will that we bring our family to Sauk Prairie.
Mhm.
And we served this almost 5 years.
Okay. Now, I thank you for mentioning that. I was part of that because I remember coming down to Cary Grove to hear you speak. First of all, greatly enjoyed the message. And second, I don't know who recommended it, but there was just a wonderful breakfast place or meal place very close to the church that we went to afterwards.
Oh, funny.
It was
Yeah.
fabulous. So I remember both those things from that.
Yeah. There's great people at that church. We
Yeah,
really love them too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, how, you served as lead pastor at Sauk Prairie E Free Church for several years, five, you said, and for several significant events during that time,
Yeah.
including a really significant one of leading us through the process of transitioning from a board to an elder-led governance structure. That's never easy to do. So looking back, what are some of your favorite memories of your time at Graceway?
Yeah, well, I think fondly of our time locked away in that room there in the church, working on the bylaws,
Mhm.
and hopefully that has served you well over the years. And where it hasn't, you gracefully change it and we move on. But um, I remember doing that, and I remember joining um, a leadership workshop through the district.
Mhm.
And Dwight Pulfus and I went to that on a regular basis. So I would get 2 hours in the car each way with Dwight. And we just would have the most wonderful conversations about everything from, dogs to theology to you name it. And I, of course, remember fondly my time working with Rod and Dwight, but especially those long rides in the car with Dwight and hearing him tell all his stories. It's a good memory for me. Yeah.
Mhm. Now, of course, we always have to put the caveat whenever we talk about Dwight's stories that you could believe about three-quarters of them before we went there. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to sort through the fiction and the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
loved
so,
Dwight.
yeah, yeah. I appreciate just the reminder of those who have served as now Pastor Rod has retired here
Oh, okay. Yeah.
just the end of October. And
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, no, he'll be glad to hear that for sure. And just thinking about the service of all three of you during those times and how God pulled together and to work together to
Yep.
continue to
It
lead and
was
help us grow.
a good group of guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For both of you, how did God use your time in Sauk Prairie to help you grow in your faith?
Yeah, that was a good question. I would say just in general, during my time at Sauk Prairie, I really learned to rely on the Psalms. The Psalms in particular really spoke to me,
Mhm.
and I grew in allowing them to shape my faith,
Mhm,
I would say.
mhm.
That for me, what about you,
Yeah.
Amy?
During my time at Sauk Prairie, and again, we're just so grateful for those years. I was thinking a lot about how God allowed me and us to build relationships with other families, and for me, other women um, within the church and in the community. I think fondly of dear friends Joy Pulfus and Lori Kestnick and Charlene Bauman, who I imagine are all still there, and just seeing the importance of the body of Christ
Hmm.
um, within my personal walk and faith. So just the body of Christ.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, all three of those individuals are still here.
Yes.
And we appreciate their service greatly. And
Mhm.
as life has changed for all of us since your time here, God has continued to use them in mighty and
Mhm.
powerful ways.
Awesome.
Um, Tim, is there a psalm that really stood out to you? Do you remember one that really, just really stood out, that God really used strongly?
Yeah. Psalm 88
Okay.
is the black sheep of the Psalm of the Psalter. It's the only psalm where usually the pattern goes, he's into great distress, he calls out to the Lord hears his cry
Mhm,
and rescues him, and
mhm,
then there's praise.
mhm,
This it ends in just darkness, and it's a very dark psalm,
mhm,
but it really spoke to me and encouraged me. And I remember preaching through the Psalms, and in particular, that one really connected with people in some of the difficult, dark struggles that they have. And so it was kind of neat how, God used the things that connected in my life
yeah,
to also connect in other people's lives, you know?
yeah. And
Yeah.
and put that together with the relationships that you had built. I think that's really powerful to hear that, how God used those parts in you, and then that you were able to take that and expand
Yeah.
it to the congregation.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And we continue to gain, I appreciate you mentioning that psalm, because as we are continue to gain a greater appreciation, both in my world in education
Mm.
and in ministry and just in society in general, of mental health and some of those components of that. That's an important psalm, just for the reasons that you just talked about. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing that reminder back
Yep.
to us through that. So thank you.
Yep. And that's in the Bible. It's not like something that's strange and foreign
Mhm.
to the pursuit of, following Jesus.
Yeah. And the wonderful and the amazing thing is, right, is that all the struggles that are common to man are in the Bible, and sometimes
Yep.
we don't realize that until those struggles hit.
And
Mhm.
that he redeems them,
Mm,
for
mhm,
good.
mhm, mhm,
So it's
mhm,
not wasted.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. This is why
Yep.
I love doing this, because right there, right, we just had a little mini sermon
A moment. We had a moment, I
from
think.
you, yes, on that. So thank you very much for going through that. Um, so anytime you lead an organization, there's going to be hard times. What did God teach you through those periods?
Again, I guess I'd go back to the Psalms, and I really began to hear God's voice through the Psalms, and the those desperate prayers that are in the Psalms
Mhm,
really I became my own
mhm,
as I prayed through difficult situations, whether it was people or trying to lead an organization.
mhm,
And I really grew to appreciate the language that's in the Psalms that gives us um a way of not it's not just that it's God's word, it's our words back to him. So it's very powerful.
mhm,
So I learned a lot about the Psalms, I think, in that whole season of my life.
mhm, mhm. I'm anticipating we're going to get a theme here on this. Was there a favorite sermon or sermon series that you taught? I'm
Yeah.
guessing we might be able to get that answer here.
Yep, it definitely was in the Psalms. And out of all the ones that I did, I think that got the most response from people
Mhm.
and the most heartfelt, like, it's nice to hear that that's a nice sermon, good sermon, or whatever.
Mhm.
But to really hear people wrestling with their faith
Mhm.
as a result of what the text says,
Mhm.
that's when, that was good stuff to hear that
Mhm.
from people, and I was really encouraged by that.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, it also was ministering to me simultaneously.
Yeah. Tim, I'm going to pause before I'm going to put Amy on the spot here, but I appreciate even the word choice you just used right there. And this is one of your many attributes and things that I appreciate, is that you said how the text spoke to people. And the world would flip that and say the words that I used, or that my sermon, but you used those words of the text, and that God used you through that. And so again, your humility and those pieces just came through in that answer. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Amy, now this, I haven't had a pair together on like this on one of our interviews. So now I'm going to put you on the spot. And so was there a favorite sermon that you heard from Tim?
Oh,
Now, if not, you can gracefully decline this answer. You can just say all of them. But is there something that, having sat underneath your husband, both as wife and as a Christian, learning to grow, is there something that stands out from Tim's preaching, or something particularly that you grew from?
Yes, I know you're anticipating this
oh,
as
I'm
well.
I'm
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. When I think about sitting in the pews as a parishioner as well as being Tim's wife, I can't think of a particular sermon, but I always remember, knowing as Tim sat with the text during the week and prayed and hearing like little bits. I never heard the whole thing before Sunday.
Like during the week, I'd
Yeah,
come home and want to talk about it.
right, little
Yeah.
things. But to just see how God worked through through Tim and just his study, and how it wasn't his words, it was the Lord's words,
Mhm.
speaking to everybody, and thinking, wow, I really, am learning and growing in my walk with faith and walk with Christ, in my personal faith. So I don't know, maybe a little surprised
Mhm.
just at how fresh and new
Hmm.
scriptures, even that you might hear a lot, that, God, the Bible is just a lifelong love letter and pursuit, and how fresh it was, and just and thankful for our church community, and at Sauk Prairie, just a really rich time.
Mhm. No, thank you for letting me ask that. And just as we did have a chance to interview the Hilder Anderson, Roy Anderson's wife, separately, and then Joy filled in for Dwight after his passing here. I just want to say thank you as a pastor's wife. We know that the pastor's family, pastor's kids go through a different experience in a community, but particularly as a spouse, you are walking right alongside through those good times, through those hard times, hearing, like you said, bits and pieces of the sermon, being asked for advice, and then supporting him every Sunday as you listen. So thank you for choosing this role. Thank you for supporting him. We all know that without our spouse, it's a two-person piece, and while one person gets the credit, it really is both of you. So thank you, Amy, for your support and for all you did for Tim directly and for the congregation during your time here.
You are welcome. I want to just quickly add, we do just want to, thank you for your love and care for our family. I think about when we came, our kids were I don't know, like 4 and 6.
Yeah.
And just how you brought us into your family, you took care of us, and
poured into our kids.
Yeah, welcomed us with open arms.
Yeah.
And just became our family. So we're really grateful for those times.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes that's a challenge for us as a congregation, is that sometimes we put our pastor on a pedestal, or you know, they've gone to seminary. They know we're all human. We're all walking down this journey. We're all
That's right.
through that love letter of the Bible together,
Yep.
and for both ways, to as you pour into us, that we need to be pouring into you as well. So Amy, thank you for bringing that up. Speaking of pouring into people, Tim, you've talked about you know, your time at Cary Grove, of your evangelism and disciple building, and your relationship building is certainly one of your many gifts there that God has given. So you've got many talents, many interests. How are you able to use these gifts to build relationships? And then the part B question, which I did prompt you on,
I saw that.
it's important. Have you developed any new meat smoking recipes there?
Yeah, well, I realize we're on a timer, so I won't get too far into the, you know, it's like asking a golfer about golf or a fisherman about fishing, but no, you know, from day one of our marriage, we have really been, I guess, gifted with the gift of hospitality. We have a heart for the stranger. And so we've been able to have, you know, thousands of people in our home, I bet, by now. Don't you think?
I don't know, a
Yeah,
lot.
a lot. And so I think God has used that in our lives, and we've certainly enjoyed it. And then the barbecue thing kind of fits beautifully into that, because I love to cook. And I remember going to Wittenbach's and picking out a nice cut of meat to do on the cooker there.
Mhm.
We miss Wittenbach's, definitely. Don't have anything like that where we live.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very thankful for the opportunity and the way God has used us to build relationships, you know, in the church,
Mhm.
and bring people hopefully into the fold, and, you know, encourage them in their walk with Christ.
Yeah, certainly many good memories of leadership get-togethers at your house
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that fine meat, and
A good excuse to cook ribs.
yeah, that was an excellent excuse, and we probably had 100% attendance for that.
That was fun.
Yeah. And go ahead, Amy. Yeah.
Oh, I have to add, I don't know if you're going to add, but you are still continuing your love of barbecue. And this summer we had a fond
That's true.
experience of our family joined Tim in a barbecue contest, a local
Yeah.
barbecue contest like an hour away,
Yeah.
and competed against all these people. So it was really fun, and you did well.
Thanks.
Yeah, you
It
did
was
really
fun to
well.
do it as a family.
Mhm.
And so it was a family bonding experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's fun to watch how God can use interests that he's given us those just as much as other gifts,
Absolutely.
and then use them, family, relationship, you know, all those pieces. So
Yeah.
so you talked about the boys a couple times, you know, 4 and 6 when they came, so that puts them at, you know, significantly. Give us an update on your life and your family, where they're at, any awards that you have won for barbecue. Just go through. We got about 8 minutes left, so give us a good update there.
Well, for the record, I got 4th place in ribs, so that wasn't too bad. There was 16 teams, so we've got a lot of work to do yet. Practice makes perfect. But in more important things, Sam is 21. And he is going to graduate from Western Michigan University here in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And he's already got a job in financial management, financial wealth management. So he's a financial planner, that kind of thing. And then Joey is 20. He just turned 20. And he's at Grand Valley State University studying natural resources management. So I'll tell you, our time together as a family at Devil's Lake was a formative thing in his life, such that now he's a climber. He hikes all over the place, camps all over the place. And, you know, it's because we were 15, 20 minutes away from such a beautiful area.
Yeah.
That's another place we would definitely miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though we live right next to Lake Michigan and it's beautiful, but
Yep.
it's just different, you know.
Yeah. I'm blown away that I know it in my head, but that they're both, you don't have a teenager anymore, that
Yeah,
you're
they
past that
are,
stage.
and they're really fine adults. We're very thankful to report that they're both really active in their faith.
Mhm,
And that's been just amazing to see and humbling to see that
mhm,
in their lives
mhm.
as they kind of figure things out as adults, you know.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
How about the two of you? Anything,
Oh, yeah.
going? Yeah.
So I'm working now at a place called PACE, which stands for Program for All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly.
Okay.
And essentially, I'm a chaplain to senior adults who are deal with either significant health challenges or are dealing with dementia. So I do a lot of Bible studies and lead worship services and do a lot of visiting of our participants. So it's very different role than I had when I was at the chapel here in St. Joe, Michigan, our local EFC church. But it's been a gratifying change, and I have weekends off, so that's been a new thing for me.
Mhm,
And you want to tell them?
Yeah. So I am continuing to be a reading teacher,
mhm,
and
She loves it.
I still love what I do. I'm at the local elementary. I'm very thankful that when we moved here, the school that our kids went to, the district, um, God provided a job here in the same district. So
mhm.
kind of parallel to in Sauk Prairie, with teaching in the same area that the kids were in. What a blessing that is. So they went through that same district. I am still there at the local elementary as a reading teacher, still loving what I do, have just a great passion for teaching kids to read and being involved in their lives. Um, and I would say together we're still enjoying walks on the beach
Yeah,
at Lake
it's
Michigan.
beautiful.
Yeah, enjoying wherever God puts you.
Mhm.
There's always beauty
Those gems.
in wherever you are.
Yeah.
So just trying to just appreciate where we are and loving that, building friendships and relationships here. We're also close to where my family is, like an hour away.
Yeah.
So we spent more time with them than we did before, but still active in our church and just doing well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. As you probably know, one of the ministries that has continued to spring out of the work that you and Lori Kesnick did while you're here is a reading ministry that now is during the day, and it's just been incredible to watch. And you know that one of the things that's just so crucial is that ability to read and to give that confidence to a kid or to an adult, and that empowering them to live in this world, and also to be able to sit in front of the word and to be able to read it yourself. It's just an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for-
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I just spoke with Lori a couple of weeks ago and got caught up on that, and what a joy that was to hear, and of course my time with Joy in the schools. Mhm.
Yeah. And then Tim, just that's amazing. Talk about a time of life that you're stepping into for both the individuals, but then for the care staff around them and for the families that are around them.
Yeah.
As they're preparing, for that next stage, that God has put you in a position of just in a crucial space where people
Thank you.
need
Yeah.
to be surrounded by people like you. So thank you for serving in that way.
Thank you. I'm blessed to have gotten this position, and it's worked out really well.
No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So as we wrap up here, again, just sincerely, thank you for your service to Sauk Prairie, Care Grove, and Joe's, and to the Lord now and as you continue. Given all that God has taught you through the various places you've been, the various roles you've served, what wisdom would you share for those in ministry and in the congregation that are coming behind?
So I thought a lot about that. I recently finished leading our participants through the Sermon on the Mount,
Mhm.
and something that really struck me in a fresh way that I've been seeking to follow in my own life is where Jesus says to ask and seek and knock. He's really basically saying when we pray, we should be swinging for the fences, you know, and really, really going to bat for the kingdom in terms of what we ask for, instead of maybe just little timid prayers, you know. So I guess I would say, don't waste the opportunity that it is to pray, you know. So ask, seek, and knock is what Jesus says. Is he's almost begging us to take him at his word. So that really has affected me and shaped how I've been praying. And I think that's as good as anything to share.
Yeah. Ask, seek, knock, and I'm going to add to that from what you just said of swing big.
Swing for the fences. Yeah.
We see big prayers in the Bible, and God answer those big prayers, certainly. And I appreciate this as we segue into our last one with Pastor Brian, and as he looks to give us a vision for the next 50 years, or however God calls Graceway to. What I hear from that is as we look forward, don't look small, Graceway.
Right.
Look small.
No, that's right.
Big. God will meet us where it's at, and he's asking us to be committed to go out and then, you know, he's going to give us those opportunities, but just swing big. I thank you. Even just that little piece would have been worth this time here today. So this has really been a thrill for me throughout this time. Pastor Tim, Amy, thank you so much for your willingness to join. This is our first one video recording, so hopefully everything comes across fine. And just so grateful that you've given us this time here today. So Pastor Tim, Amy, thank you so much for your service, and we just wish you the best of luck as you move into these next phases of life.
Thank you. The Lord bless you and bless Graceway as well.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.